Hello and welcome back to the Pride Pod here on Loud and Proud Orlando, ready to start a new season. And there's only one way to do that, Luis, and that's with this phrase right here on my shirt. I'm going to stand up. It says, "Do you see us now, Luis?" I
That's
couldn't think
right.
of
There
a
you go.
better phrase to say after, opening the pod with a 6-0 that we had last week against Chicago Stars. If they didn't see us last year when we won the double, I don't know how they missed us. They're definitely seeing us now, Louise. The shot heard around the league is something you always like to say, and I feel it couldn't have been truer at this moment. We're going to get into that today. So we're going to review the Orlando Pride versus the Chicago Stars. Then we're also going to kind of look at the opening week in NWSL, go through the games, see what results there might have been that surprised us, who looks like they are the same as last year, who doesn't look the same as last year. And then we're going to preview Gotham as we take on the Bats, talk lineup and score predictions, as we always like to do. I am hoping, Luis, we're going to have a very special guest at some point today. He has messaged me and said he's going to be jumping on later with us. So Dino from Into the Channel podcast, a good friend of us who also covers the Orlando Pride, hopefully going to join us later on the pod to kind of talk NWSL and also be there for that Gotham preview. So excited for that. Thank you to everybody who's here with us live. Drop a comment, give us a like. We want to hear from you what your opinions were on this 6-0 drumming of Chicago Stars. Luis, kick us off with your thoughts.
No, well, first and foremost, thank you to everybody watching and listening. We are Loud and Proud Orlando. This is the Pride Pod. We are live, about 12 people live right now. So drop us your comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube, if you're on X, retweet the video. It will help us out tremendously. Um, Obviously, a massive win by the Pride. It was a statement. After the defeat against by penalty shootout, by the Washington penalties. They Everybody was like, "Oh, this pride is all talk." It's the same stuff that they were saying all last year about doubting the pride and doubting the players, and this definitely spoke volumes. It was a shot heard around the whole entire NWSL for sure. A statement. Everybody need to watch out because the Pride got even better than last year, in my opinion. I mean, the bandit goals were tremendous. Cost her a little bit to get to that rhythm, but she's definitely back. Priska Chalufa also came in and scare a couple of Chicago Stars defenders. Forced them to make mistakes, and Orlando got a couple more. Marta, influential as well. Julie Doyle, hopefully she's back and she scored only 11 minutes in the pitch and she scored a goal. Just imagine that for Julie Doyle. So now you have to understand most goals, Orlando Pride, 6 goals. Most goals scored by one team on opening weekend in NWSL history. This was just released by the league. And that says a lot on how this team is starting off their 2025 season right here, you know, with this picture. Looks like Banda's getting tickled. Um, but it was a great night. Um, Also, it was a great birthday present for Miss K. I do want to say so. Happy birthday to Miss K. It was she was telling everybody that the best gift she could get was for everybody to go and get a ticket. And I will have to say the atmosphere was ecstatic. It was tremendous atmosphere. Um, a lot of people were saying that it was past the 10K mark for sure. I think it was a little more than that.
I
It
think they
was
said 19,000, but that
Yeah,
was 19,000 distributed, and
yeah,
we know they gave one to every Orlando City season ticket member, so that's not 19,000 through the gate. That's
yeah, yeah, for
19,000
sure.
distributed.
But it was loud, and it was definitely make a huge statement, and it was a great moment. Now, what's next? I mean, I feel like this team is gonna get better and better, and teams are gonna have trouble into figuring out what Seb's gonna do, especially tactically. We haven't even seen Summer Yates. We haven't even seen a couple of players that Grace Chanda. So these are players that are also gonna join uh, the starting lineup or the Pride, and they're gonna rock it. I don't know. Look at the back line.
Yeah.
It's just all green.
I pulled up the SofaScore ratings here before we get, we'll go through goal by goal in a minute, but for just now talking in a broader sense, um, some of the things that we said preseason, Luis, like, what does year two Barbara Banda look like? I mean, she looks like she's been working on her technical game, like some of the touches and passes and flicks, and some of the connections that she was making up front. So Barbara has leveled up. Haley Hansen, or sorry, not Haley Hansen. She's
Haley
still written
McCutcheon.
that as here. Haley McCutcheon. Come on, SofaScore, update your names. Haley McCutcheon has really upped her game. Like we saw at the end of last year with the playoffs that she was bringing in scoring, but now I feel like just the way that she's such a threat because she knows the other players are being marked and she's always in a good space to have shots, I think is a great upgrade on her. Angelina has started off this season really well. Rafaeli is back. Ali Watt has picked up exactly where she left off. Martha is still Martha and being the GOAT. Carrie Abello started really well. Emily Sam's gone to that right back position, hasn't skipped a beat. Anna's getting clean sheets. Like, there's no part of this team in this first game, Luis, that didn't match last year or improve on what they did from last year. I think that little blip, and it's not even a blip really, of the Challenge Cup because it was a tie at the end of the day, and then we lost on PKs. I think even just that, not lifting a trophy in our house, just lit a little bit of fire under them. And as we predicted, Luis, it was going to cause a reaction. And that reaction was just to destroy Chicago in a sense that was so overpowering. Like we saw in the playoffs last year of like that 4-1 that was, it was pretty comprehensive, that 4-1. This 6-0 was like, y'all, like, this is bad. This
And
is really bad.
the fans were like,
We
we won
destroyed them.
7. We
Like we
won
put them
7.
to the sword, and the whole game they were worrying about Banda, and we're scoring from all our other players. And then the end of the game, Banda just, with Chilufia on the field, just finally gets those chances and really has those opportunities with tired legs and mistakes happening. And then she just shows exactly what she can do as well with an insane finish for that last goal. I know we're going to go through them, but I just an all out, on here, you've got Barbara Banda as a 9.7. I think they should all be 8.0 and above for
Yeah.
this game. Like, I don't think why is Carrie Abello on a 6.9? I don't understand what that's going on. So,
She did
Angelina balled
lost.
out this game. Morgan Gautrat. Yeah, Carrie had a few moments. Like, there were some moments, but overall, we destroyed them
Yeah,
throughout the
it
game.
was
Like, it wasn't like they had a period where they were the dominant team in this game. They had moments of, oh yeah, we've got the ball for a few minutes, but most of the time it was all Pride.
the dominance was not only in the individual player, it was on the collective. And I do want to say that Seb on the post press conference was concentrated more on talking about the collective than the individual achievements of each individual player, because it is hard if you're going to base it on individually. They're going to have a everyone had a great game, overall. I do want to say Ali Watt, what a game of Ali Watt, especially the first half. I mean, the way is like she's not giving up that flank very easy. She's not going to give it away. She's not going to give the starting job to anybody else. Tremendous job of Ali Watt with that goal. Ali Watt now has, I believe, 8 goals with the Pride across all competitions. Did you think when Ali came into the team was going to be that influential? Definitely, I never expected it. Be honest with you, but it's amazing to see her thrive, especially last season, how important she was in the playoffs, and now translating her good momentum from last year translated to this year, massive. So I'm happy for Ali, and also Haley McCutcheon and Morgan Gautrat, which it seems like it's like a like the new double tandem in the NWSL. I mean, she had a lot of injuries last season, but this season Morgan is definitely delivering big time. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, we talked about stepping up game. Morgan is, I thought perhaps with it being Chicago, Luis, and I predicted that they would put Angelina back there and take Morgan out, and then that way, you'd want to see more of that like attacking stance. But I think Seb enjoys having Angelina out on that left wing. Of course, she could put Angelina anywhere. She does a great game. Morgan was always a very good defensive midfielder. She always has been. It just last year she was still, getting all up to full fitness. And then this year we're seeing, okay, Morgan Gautrat and everything that she can be, the top level of Morgan under the right system, fully fit, knows what she's doing. She's just a really solid D mid. We've got potentially Luana coming back. Like the defensive midfield positions are absolutely stacked. I mean, we're all over the field, we are, Luis. But I'm really impressed with Morgan Gautrat's start. I did not expect her to look this good this beginning. I expected her to be like a rotation option for us, not necessarily a starter. So she has surprised me with how well she's playing this early in the year, and I think shows the reason why we picked her up like a year or so ago, because she really is that, classic D mid in the sense that she can just hold the ball well, calm under control, makes a lot of tackles, puts in the dirty work, but also is able to join in the attack and progress the play as well. So, and it's also allowed Haley to do more, right? I feel like Haley's able to be even, further in the attack because she has, that reliance of Morgan next to her.
Oh, for sure. It's just tremendous. Let's read some comments real quick. We have um, Rodolfo Chang and Morgan cost the own goal from Chicago. Haley Carter, thank you so much, Haley, for watching. Appreciate it. Let's let's effing go, Ali. Goal contributions galore with the right support and coaching. Hi guys, have a nice night. Thanks for the coverage. No problem, Haley. Our pleasure.
Ali,
Um,
what man? She's, like
man,
I didn't think that we'd ever see Ali Watt get to this level. I feel like Seb and the coaching team
I agree.
has shown Ali like you have such great qualities. You just need to use them in the right way. And now she's so much more of a threat. Like before, she was always fast, but there wasn't much end product. Now, every time she gets up the field, it's like a cross or a shot or something's going to happen. Ali's going to cause problems every time she gets on the ball at the moment. So, love to see that.
Physically,
Love to see her development. She's been great.
physically, that team, what they're doing to that team is tremendous. I mean, it needs to be. I think it's a secret formula, in my opinion, because physically, the team it's 120. They can play 120 minutes. It's and that's technically what you need now in soccer to be a champion. I mean, if your team is able to withstand 120 minutes with stoppage time and penalty kicks and extra time, things like that, obviously 120 minutes, if your team can withstand that pressure and play with at that level, you're definitely poised to be a top contender. And I think that's what the Pride are doing. Physically imposing, the attacking third, tremendous. And not only that, from the two tandems in the mid, they just make the backline's job much easier. Morgan, to me, was intricate, aside of Haley McCutcheon, but Morgan, tremendous the whole entire game.
She's got that maturity in the midfield of just
Yeah.
like a veteran who knows how to run a midfield in NWSL. And now she's back to full fitness. It's exciting. Like we can still we're gonna see rotation. Seb's gonna move players around. I don't doubt that whatsoever. Luis, let's talk through the goals, sort of one by one, as they went down, because there are six of them. We don't always get to go through such a big game. The first one, Haley McCutcheon, we kind of talked about a little bit, but I think just a great finish on her left foot. I mean, such finesse there, I believe. Wouldn't you agree?
No, yeah, tremendous. I think
I don't
the
think they thought
goal.
she could do that. They didn't close her down. Like she couldn't do that.
Yeah, let's watch the goal right here, real quick. This is the first goal right.
Essential for them to be able to get results, especially early on in this.
You see that one touch pass with the inside of her foot from Carrie, and look, just look at that. Like,
Essential for them to be able to get results, especially early on
look
in
at
the
that
season.
pass.
Angelina, that was a twister for Ricardo.
Ricardo starting this game in her
The
more
aggressiveness
preferred
they
position
go
in that
for the
holding midfield role,
tackle.
and
It's
we
just
spoke
what I
about her and
praise the
their coming
most.
into this game. Their leadership, their experience is going to be essential to the Chicago team to start this.
They play with a lot of determination. This is how it starts. Look at
The
that.
7th minute. Yep.
Oh,
So, I mean, again, with the high press, I think this is what
yep.
is on this is like we showed last year. We weren't always able to do the high press. We sometimes went mid block, sometimes low block. This year, both the Washington Challenge Cup game and this game, we did a lot of high pressing, winning the ball back high up the field. And Chicago they just couldn't deal with it. I mean, here we win the ball. We got like 4 options. There's like 4 different players you can pass to. Like this is a coach's dream to have all of his players in the attack, following the ball, pressing together. Then you win the ball and they're all there ready to go. And that's how we get this goal. I mean, it's a great finish by Haley McCutcheon, but it's caused by the fact that we all press and cause such a great high press against Chicago to let them give the ball away, and then we got options when we do win it back. So,
You know,
great to see.
yeah. I mean, and if you this tactically, I mean, it's checkmate by the Pride in the number one division of Morgan Gautrat to find Haley, and just Haley taking advantage of those chances, which typically, you'll see a lot of the teams that go fast in transition. They will miss those type of goals, especially in front of a keeper like Naher. You know what I mean? But just Haley, just not afraid of shooting the ball from distance. Boom, and it was a pretty amazing banger right there. With a lefty right there.
And then the next goal in the 36th minute, Ali Watt. I went back, Luis, and I found a video because this goal reminded so much me of a certain player that I had to go back and look at the Orlando City history
Oh,
of
we need to find that
a
video.
certain player. I'll have to find you the picture. But a certain player scored a lot of goals with his head. His name was Seb Hines, and he had the nickname the Headmaster. And when I saw Ali Watt score this goal, I just said that has Seb Hines written all over it. I've seen him score goals like that all over his career. It's just an incredible jump and just a great flick header. I mean, she is a tall player. I mean, you forget about Ali Watt. We're all about the speed, but she is quite tall, and she knew, like, they've been practicing a lot in the set pieces, and she knew Marta would put it exactly there. She got there hoping to win the ball the early front post, exactly what you want to do, and then has a great glancing header to the back post, a center back's header, or a striker, a big number 9's type header from Ali Watt. So not only could she add things in her game like crossing and shooting and improving in all of those factors, but to score a headed goal like this, I didn't know that Ali Watt had this in her repertoire. Did you?
No, I did not. She mentioned that she she was afraid that she was gonna get punched. you know, she just didn't
Yeah.
want to get punched, and it was more instinctively more than anything. But it worked, and these are the type of opportunities that you would see top contending teams in this, like Bay or like Kansas or even Courage, and miss those chances. And Orlando is hitting them not only shooting from distance, from pressing in attack, and then touching the ball in the box, of the set piece. So they're hitting you from all fronts, and that makes for any coach very hard to figure out how Orlando Pride's going to play. And I think that was what made Seb's squad so unpredictable that no one knew how to handle the Pride, and that's eventually what got him the double. Now in this scenario, look how the play starts here. A shot, from Banda, and then it goes to a corner kick. And like you said, it's kind of like Seb's used to do. You see, back of her head. I feel Nair could have gone to the ball a little faster, but again, I respect her tremendously in her career, but I think Nair's center backs kind of blurred her vision in a way, and Ali took advantage of that chance, and the happiness that she showed on goal was just phenomenal. It was a tremendous header. It set the tone. Now again, wonderful cross by Marta to her head. Essentially, it's a perfect pass right here. You can see, boom, tremendous. Now you were at the wall, right, John? So you saw this.
Yeah, well,
right?
I was there. I had to leave early in this game. I was very upset to do that, but I did go for the beginning of the game, and I had to go do a family thing. So I watched the rest of the game from that event, very upset that I had to leave, and I really wanted to go back to the stadium. So I didn't get to enjoy all of these 6 goals in person. But hey, that's life. Sometimes you got to go do stuff. But I did get to see the McCutcheon goal. I was there for that one, and then I had to bounce after that. So Ali Watt, then in the 47th minute, right after halftime, there's this own goal. It's, what are you going to call it? Like pressure, whatever, Luis. It's just, this is what happens when the Orlando Pride puts balls into the box and you're scrambling to try and defend Barbara Banda. You might put it in yourself.
The play starts from the back line. Oh crap. What's going on? It changed the there you go. Oh my, changing by itself. There you go.
YouTube.
Oh my god.
Let's have it.
I don't know what happened there. It completely flip. All right, let me look for it real quick here.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
a good cross across and really just, but the pressure again is what caused it, right?
Yeah,
the
right
high
here,
pressure on the field, and you'll see they don't know how to deal with it. They give the ball away and then they can't recover.
Yeah, tremendous. It starts from the back line, and just the vision that they have to start the play into the attacking third. Again, Morgan and Haley, they had a massive game against Chicago, and I think this is what we're going to be seeing more often now. Now, how do you feel about Sam's as a right back again? I think she's doing tremendous too. Look at that.
Is there anything Emily Sams can't do? She's playing really well at right back. I think it's just a situation of we're desperate to play Raffaele because she's that good, and Seb wants to give her minutes as much as possible. But how can you drop Emily Sams or Kylie Nadana? You can't. They're that good that it would be harsh to do so. I think in this scenario with Corey, having the injury and Brianna and Ohain Hernandez not being here yet, it kind of made sense, I think, for Seb to say, let me put Emily at right back for a while. But not to say it won't shift in the future. As we know, this Orlando Pride team is biggest strength is the fact that they're also versatile. So Emily, I wouldn't be surprised we end up seeing her in center defensive mid at some point in the season, right? She could play the Morgan Gautrat role, definitely, or she might end up at left back at some point. You never know what's going to happen. I just think Emily is that good and that versatile where Seb will move her around, just like a lot of our players. We've got a lot of very good footballers that you could put in multiple positions, and they know, as long as they figure out how to adapt to that role, they can play there as well. And like Elizabeth says here, Emily played right back in college. Yeah, she knows how to play it anyway. She's not unfamiliar with that position. But having been put there, I think she's showing, hey, I can be a pretty good right back as well.
No, for sure. And just look at the play right here. It feels like no one in Chicago um wanted. They just let Morgan just cross it, and I feel like the center backs were trying to catch her, and trying to, kind of block her and block the chance, and have a clearance maybe, and it went south.
There's just too many
Too
players
many.
for them to mark. There's
And
just
it
too
was an own
many.
goal. It was an own goal, and I would have given, it to Morgan, but it was an own goal nonetheless. But it's just so many Pride players touching the ball in the box, and just Chicago is just so passive. Like no one will clear the ball. Ariel would just stand trying to beat them on the 1v1, which it's kind of impossible, and
I
obviously
think,
the Senex trying to get Banda, and Anderson just tries to clear it and just goes in, man.
yeah, I think after that third goal went in at the beginning of the second half, their heads just really dropped. It's hard. Like, you're coming into Orlando to play the leading champs like us. You got to think from Chicago's perspective. Once that first like 2 or 3 goals went in, they're on such an uphill battle, and then it's like 4 and 5, and like this is, I'm sure, been pretty demoralizing for a team that I don't have high hopes for this year anyway. Without Mal Swanson, with a bunch of rotated players. So I'm not kind of surprised that we got a lot at the end of the game. I think they just completely were deflated and just, I don't want to say gave up, but the level of effort required to stop Banda, it can only go on for so long. Like you can only stop her for so long. And that's kind of what we saw. The 65th minute, Luis, I believe you have it ready. The Julie Doyle goal, she's just come on the field. I mean, it was barely, what was she on the field for? Like a minute? I don't even.
11 minutes she was on the field.
She was on for 11 minutes, so not very long at all. Great vision here from Barbara. I feel like she looks up on the right side of the field here, Luis, and then has the intelligence to look across. And even Chilufya, if you watch
Yeah.
this, Chilufya's, the way she leaves the ball is like, oh, that's I love it when a number 9 does that, like pretend, oh, I'm gonna kick it, but they step over it and just let it roll to the winger. That was exactly what happened in this moment. And Chilufya with the intelligence, oh, I'm gonna leave this for Julie, and Julie's coming in like a firecracker and just smacks it in the back of the net. So
Yeah, and love is like,
and a game of bangers. This was another one.
obviously the technical, ability doing that, to a defender. It's she kind of embarrassed the defender a little bit, lifting that ball up and going in transition. And then also Priska, tactically, it's telling Chicago's flank, now there's 2 bandas on your side. Good luck. Literally. And I feel like she was really intricate for the floodgates to open. Right here. Here we go. In transition. And then, unselfishly, Priska and Banda, Banda with the vision of seeing that Julie was coming in, and then so proud of Julie, honestly. She's come such a long way. Such a positive role model for a lot of, I remember when she first came into the team, she was teaching kids soccer, on the off time. And now she's like,
I think she still does do that.
now the Pride, it's like rocking, and look at that. Boom. Like,
I mean,
full.
Julie and Allie, like, were 2 players that were kind of average in NWSL, and now I think are 2 players that are in any other NWSL team and in ours are starting level top wingers in the league. I think that's the development you've seen. Players that had potential now have fully realized all of that potential under Seb and Haley and the new, culture that we've created for them to actually develop and grow.
And then Chicago, after this, they were just completely demoralized. At that point, there was only one team on the field, and it was the Pro. Then you see Priska with the vision, and just this right here, man. This is just like this is art, man. I don't know how to say it, but I just think this is just one of the best goals I've seen. Look at that. Look at this. Oh, just filthy.
Yeah, I mean the turn, and then it was just like, it was. They marked her too close. You can't mark Barbara Banda that close, and then she turned on them and goes, and then like at that moment you're like, there's no way. And she just, all the body positions, like, oh, I'm going far corner, and she goes, I'll slot it in here. It looked too easy for Barbara in that moment. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it is in this at all, but like she makes it look easy. That's how good she is.
Yeah, and then
and the best players ever, they have that ability.
Not only that, just with her body movement, with her movement off the ball, she's pretty much telling Priska, hey, like, I could beat these two center backs myself. Just pass me the ball. And that's exactly what Priska does. The full trust in Barbara Banda. Boom. And then Banda knows she's posting and just nutmegs. I believe that's Hack, I believe. And just
no. It would have been Franklin or
I think
Anderson.
It was Anderson,
yeah.
Like it's just
I mean,
tremendous.
the scores for we're talking about the softest scores and and all the ratings that we got for the 6-0 on the other side for Washington is pretty bad. They're all like 5.0s, 4.9s. Defensively, it just fell apart for them completely. Let's talk about the final goal, Luis, of Barbara Banda, because wow. I mean,
This was
hang it in the Louvre, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this right here,
beautiful goal. Absolutely beautiful goal.
You said last season that Barbara was not done. Like this was not one hit wonder, and this goal is a testament of that. I feel like this goal tells you I can hit it from anywhere you want me to. Like, look at me. Like, she already saw Nate, like the keeper, out of position, so she felt comfortable on hitting that long ball and that long shot from distance, confidently that she scored. I think if this is not goal of the week or something, I don't know if they have that in NWSL, but I mean, this is like you said, put it in the Louvre, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's everything about it. The way the strike dips at the end and hits the bar and goes in, the way she hits it, the way, I mean, it was one of those moments for me.
Inside of her foot and just curves.
And
look at Seth's face, like he's like, yeah. And then here's when people, and I do want to say, just the atmosphere was electric. Even I know for a fact, Orlando City fans that went to this game, season ticket impressed. And then this was offside, but that would have been Priska's first goal. Yeah. That would have been cherry on the cake. They kept, I think, we won 7. Yeah. Like, I mean, and that would have been a record in it itself. Orlando beat Utah Royals, I believe it's 6-1 last season. So winning by 7 goals would have made their biggest lead in history in the NWSL.
I think this ties the NWSL. I'll have to check it out and see. But 25 shots overall, 8 of them on target. So we could be more accurate, right? There definitely could have been even more goals. I think also don't underestimate that it was Alyssa Nair
Yeah,
in net. Like one
a
of the
legend.
best goalkeepers. I think that was something I didn't even
Yeah.
think about until just now, Luis. I was like, "What? We beat Chicago is, obviously we're missing players defensively. Had a nightmare, but we did also have to get past Nair, and we did that 6 times. So definitely clinical, like we said, a shot heard around the league. Do you see us now? All of the headlines. I imagined when this was going on, Luis, the rest of the league, for lack of a better word, pooping their pants and just being like, whoa, Orlando Pride are back, and they are back with a vengeance. If I was a Washington Spirit fan or a KC Current fan or another team that really feels like they got a shot this year, I'd be looking at this 6-0 start from Orlando Pride and saying, oh boy, we got to be on top of our game if we're going to even have a chance of being as good as the Orlando Pride look already this year. So that does lead us nicely. Actually, wait, Luis, I had one more thing. Actually, no, we'll come back to that. Let's talk about the NWSL. But first, Luis, I want to talk about this right here because we didn't discuss it, but it did happen. The raising of the banners.
Important moment.
Here's the video that we got. I'm going to mute it because it's quite loud. But you can see here. Here is the banners being raised. If you haven't seen this, there's so many videos. This was me on the wall getting it from my perspective right underneath the banners going up. The electricity around the stadium, the anticipation, Luis, of it all happening. All the players, I know every single one of them. There's like all the viewpoints of them watching it, and some of them crying, and just that moment to celebrate. And of course, we've thought about it and talked about it and all of this so much, and there was the parade and everything else, but we haven't had that time in the stadium yet until this moment where all the players were there and the fans were there. We could all kind of be in the stadium and say, hey, look what we did. And this was that moment at the beginning of the year, a historical moment, Luis, that I don't think I'll ever forget for the Orlando Pride. And maybe we'll do it again next year when we've got more trophies. Maybe this will be a common occurrence for this legacy team that's being built under the Orlando Pride. But for right now, this one is going to be top there in top 5 Orlando Pride memories for me of all
For sure.
time.
It's the start of a brand new team. A team that now has an identity, has a culture, has a front office, has a coach, has a sporting director, right? It's a team that every single move is well thought of, every single signing is well thought of, and it makes sense, and it goes and is ingrained within the culture that they want to make here in the city. It's a team that's also representing Orlando as a city beautiful tremendously well all over the world. Putting Orlando on the map as well with all their wins. What will make me happy? What makes me happy is the bridge that started last year between both clubs. I think that to me is going to be huge down the road. But I do feel that both teams right now are poised for stuff that's important. Hopefully the men are able to get the U.S. Open Cup or get close. It's a whole different ballgame there. But I know for a fact the Pride are serious contenders on getting another double. And last season, at the end of last season, people were like, "Come on, Luis, like you're too positive for this to happen twice." No, I mean, after this win and after what I've seen and the way they're training and the way even Angelina training her off season to get ready for this, it means that they're not done. They just started, and so we may see a couple of 4 banners for the Pride by the end of the year.
I think we got to start talking about Orlando Pride in the same echelon as, Arsenal, Chelsea, Lyon, Barcelona. We are one of the best teams in the world in women's soccer right now. As weird as it seems to say that, having been the Orlando Pride as we were before 2024, but in this moment, we are the Man City or the Real Madrid, right? We are that team in this moment in NWSL. Yes, there's more parity, but I truly believe that Haley and Seb, when they say they want to have a legacy here, and this is just the beginning, I don't think they're lying, and I don't think they have any expectations of leaving this club without adding more trophies. And I think whether that's this season, next season, more will happen. And I want to say shout out to all of the Orlando City fans that did come out to this game and made an effort to come support their city and their club. It was appreciated. I know the players care. I know the atmosphere was great. And I think it really does make a difference. And I think when you look at it from a perspective of entertainment, Luis, if you just want to see soccer and you want entertainment,
This is it.
the Orlando Pride is an insane value. Like I have a season ticket that was $150. I got a jersey for that, which was the value of which was about $110 anyway. And then you divide up all the games and how much you're paying per game in the wall. It's like you're paying $5 to watch Barbara Banda. Like for me right now, Orlando Pride is in a lot of ways more exciting and better value for money than Orlando City.
Oh, 110%.
Some people might not like that, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So I want to say for everybody who is giving it a chance right now, or if you're new to the Orlando Pride, or you're new to watching us and talking about Orlando Pride, whatever that is, please come back, come to every game, because this team deserves your support. And not only that, you can't tell me you didn't have a good time, right, Luis? Like every single one of those people that gave the Orlando Pride a chance for this game, I'm pretty sure they're all coming back. Like they're all going to go, whoa, this was even more fun than Orlando City game right now. I'm going to come. And I'm not trying to, crap on the men's product, because it's still a very good product. But I really do feel like this Orlando Pride team at the moment, value for money, there's not a better sports experience in Orlando. And that is, for me, a hard fact.
Yeah, 110%. I mean, as grassroots is what people are looking for. You won great soccer. Orlando Pride right now is it. Let's read some comments real quick. Elizabeth Eads says the games were so much fun. With depth, we'll repeat the Shield. It was down to Hart and Cooper. It says also chemistry 6-0. What an ass whooping to Stream Jesus say. It says Emily played right back in college. Says Elizabeth, thank you so much. You missed my friend Ray stripping down to his boxers in front of the drum stand. Says of all sad words. There you go. It's Bro Migo. How you doing, my friend? Says happy Monday, lads. Thank you so much.
What's up, Jose? How you doing, buddy?
Goals TV. Appreciate it. Seb, Banda did a great job pressing. She could beat Berger next week. 120 minutes in Florida. Yeah, for sure. I mean, physically, they're in top shape. And, I mean, that is kudos to the coaching staff for that, for sure. Rolfo Chang, Morgan cost the own goal from Chicago. And then I can even imagine what Banda's skill ceiling looks like in theory. Thank you again to Haley as well for commenting on our pod. It means a lot. But you have a awesome stat right there. I think there's a little polling.
Yeah, this is what Elizabeth was talking about here. This is the NWSL Goal of the Week poll. Barbara Banda is winning at the moment with 34% of the vote. Michelle Cooper right behind her with 30% of the vote, and then Kiki Pickett. Kiki Pickett's goal was nice, I gotta say.
Yeah,
but I still think Barbara's the best.
Yeah.
Also, everybody go vote right now. If you're
vote.
not, I know not everybody loves X. I did look on Blue Sky. It's not on Blue Sky. I think this is just an X thing. So apologies if you don't like X. But if you are on X, go past the bots and go vote for Barbara Banda because she's in a tight race right now.
Have
Michelle Cooper.
Michelle
We
Cooper
want her
beating
to win.
Barbara Bandit.
We can't be losing. We can't be losing just because there's more KC fans. Come on, everybody, go vote. Yeah, I just feel like it was a great opening weekend, a great time to watch them lift the banners. Just a lot of positivity around opening day. And as we move on from that, let's talk about the rest of the league, Luis.
Yeah, for sure. Let's look at the rest of the league. Let's look at the actual standings right here with the Pride right up top, 3 points, 6 goal difference, 1 win. Then with the Current, you like just look at the difference between Orlando and the league goal difference. You know,
I mean, we've got that like 4-point buffer already there, like on goal difference, because we're already creating that gap.
Yeah, tremendous. I know that Kansas just signed an Angolan there too. Kansas just signed a player from Angola.
Yeah, they've gone for another star out of Africa. So yeah, I mean, Kansas City Current, their opening game, they got a 3-1 win. It was yes, they played Portland Thorns. They got a 3-1 win at home on Saturday. Michelle Cooper with a goal, obviously in goal for the week. Chawinga in the 4th minute. Looking like Kansas City for sure again. Portland Thorns in a real bad situation. They've also lost their striker out because she's pregnant. So congratulations to Sophia Wilson. But that means she will not be starting for Portland Thorns this year. So they've just lost their star striker as well. Bad times for historic franchise there. KC Current, definitely going to be a threat as they were last year. Definitely going to be a problem. I'm sure we'll be going head-to-head with them at some point in a massive game. Washington Spirit 2, Houston Dash 1, Luis. Morgan Gautreau's husband in his first game managing Houston Dash. I think they looked a lot better in this one overall than Houston Dash of years before. Washington, we know what they are. They got out there with a 2-0 win. Hatch and Morris getting the goals for them. But notable returns for both Trinity Rodman getting off the bench in this game. So she did come back. And then also Croy Bethune taken off SEI and is on the bench again for Washington Spirit. So perhaps Croy Bethune coming back faster than I would have anticipated. The MVP of last year and midfielder of last year. So got to watch out for her when she comes back. Utah Royals won, Bay FC won, Racing Louisville won, North Carolina Courage won, Seattle Reign won, New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC won. So there's some draws of the rest of Saturday. Not too exciting. North Carolina Courage, I think, was the most disappointing. I feel like a lot of bit talk about them being improving in the attack. You know how they are defensively, but there wasn't much better from them in their attack. Racing Louisville are like the draw professionals of NWSL. They're always drawing. Utah Royals looking a lot better, playing Bay FC, also looking better. So I think both those expansion clubs from last year have improved. Ali Setner on the Utah Royals, got to watch out for her. She's going to be a danger. Bay FC, Kunaji, all that. We know about them. Seattle Reign still not good. Seattle Reign still historically a club that would be one of the best teams. A 1-1 draw with New Jersey, New York, Gotham. They describe that as a good result. Yes, you're at home against a good Sky, but I think that just shows how far down Seattle have dropped, right, Luis? Like from once great heights, you're now very happy with a 1-1 draw at home.
Plus,
that's not exciting. Seattle, they've added some pieces. They will get better, I think, but still, I consider them a lower end team this year. New Jersey, New York, Gotham. Are they a top 4 team this year? Are they just a playoff team? They've lost some pieces. We're going to talk a lot more about them in a minute. Sorry.
No, I said we have the opportunity right now to set ourselves apart and be the first ones in the foot race right now in the table. If we beat Gotham, we're potentially killing a potential contender. Even though I do feel, based on what I saw again in that friendly game that they played against the Tampa Bay Sun from the USL Super League, that team gave them the run for their money. And you're talking about the press that Orlando Pride showed against Chicago. The Sun pressed them literally 10% of what the Pride did against Chicago. And he really didn't know how to react, make him react. It rattled them. They had obviously some substitutions, some fresh legs. The starters played in the second half, but they tied and they went to penalties and they won against the USL League team off penalties, and they celebrated as if they won the World Cup. But I feel like Orlando has a huge chance. Now you have to understand, Washington, and I think the next game for Washington and Kansas are going to be against each other. So one of them is going to take off right behind the Pride. And we could be seeing a race again between, either Washington and the Pride on the top of the table, or Kansas and the Pride on the top of it. So it's going to be really interesting. But definitely not afraid of what Gotham has to offer. I really feel like they're a good squad. They have a good coach, but I think right now the Pride are the better team.
Yeah, I mean, other results, around the league, none of this really surprised me that much, Luis. I don't think anything here shocked me to any point. The only game we didn't talk about was yesterday. It was the Angel City versus San Diego LA matchup. Another tie. Alyssa Thompson getting a goal and Corley getting the other goal. Angel City perhaps looking better than San Diego, but I think San Diego are just in a bad situation still. Don't know what's going on there. Angel City trying to, just got a coach, trying to figure it out. So neither of them I particularly highly regard. I think teams that are going to be down the very bottom this year, Chicago, definitely based on what we saw in that opening game and what other people think. And then other teams are going to be down at the bottom of the table, probably Portland, maybe Seattle.
Yeah.
And as we talk about that, we are joined by our good friend and guest, and he can tell us all about who he thinks is going to be at the bottom of the table. Dino, thank you for joining us.
How's it going, guys? John, long time no see. Luis, good to see you.
What's up, man? Good to see you. I like your Gotham FC jacket.
Oh, no, this is I lived in Brooklyn 13 years, right across
No,
a couple blocks down the street from Barclays. So I got a bunch of great Brooklyn Nets gear. Now, I'm a Pride guy. You already know.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Well, I heard some sad news on your pod, though, Dino. I heard you're gonna move to Bay FC.
Yeah, man.
But not like you're changing allegiances, but just a West Coast move for you.
Yeah, not my heart, just my location, and probably the beat and the football that I'll be covering. But like I said, it's Pride through and through. I'm glad we kind of got here because I missed the game last Friday. So obviously, I was in the building for a Challenge Cup. And Luis, we got a chance to kind of cover that one together. But I was not able to attend last Friday. Family was sick, so I was home. I had to watch it on TV. And man, I was emotional. I was like really emotional. I was like, damn, I'm gonna really miss this team. You see Seb, you see the midfielders, you see the defenders. I'm a big fan of the defense, and I was definitely moved. It kind of rocked me right in that moment, seeing them take the field.
Well, we're sad that you're going to go, man. It's been great having you here covering the Pride. I know Luis always enjoys, hanging out with you and just having good guys here covering and what you guys do. So we're going to miss having you as a local guy here, but we'll definitely keep following into the channel. Great to have you here because we were in the middle of talking NWSL and the opening results from last week. We were just saying there wasn't really anything that super surprised us from this opening week of results. Was there any takeaways that you had that was like, oh, this team or that team surprised me for a good or bad reason?
I thought San Diego was surprising. Obviously we kind of you read between the lines. A lot of the headlines last year, Jonas Ball leaving Arsenal, kind of not under the most glorious circumstances, and obviously two huge talents out the door, Naomi Girma, Jaden Shaw, but I thought they looked great going to Angel City, kind of keeping control of that match. Even pulling Cascarino early, they were in kind of full control of that one. I think we talked about it on our show. I think they're going to be a little disappointed not to have taken the 3 points. And I had them come into the season. I had them 14th, 14th out of 14 on my list. So that was probably like the biggest shocker. I'm like, okay, this team might be in the outskirts, or maybe in that 5 through 8 in the playoff mix if they could put some stuff together.
So other teams you feel are going to be down there, we were just talking about this. I believe kind of Portland, Seattle, Chicago are your three potential, worst teams this year. Would you agree with that? Is anyone else that you would say could be down there, should be down there?
It's tough to say. It's so early.
Dino, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say it's tough to say. It's so early. I think definitely Chicago. Without Swanson, they're kind of like, they have like 1.5 hands tied behind their back. Portland, I had them really, really low. I had the bottom 3 coming to season 2. I thought they put together a good performance, in a tough road match against essentially a top 3 team. But the goals are going to be tough to come by, I think, in Portland as well. I don't think it necessarily dooms them to bottom 3. I think Chicago is definitely down there. Seattle, I think, could be a little feisty. But yeah, I think Chicago, Portland, they're going to struggle for sure. And I think we're going to see some surprises. I think, even a team like North Carolina, who I had really high up, they're going to need to put it together. Like last year, they had a great defense. Scoring, they weren't the most prolific scoring offense. They didn't look like they could totally turn that page, even adding Jaden Shaw. But it was a tough environment going to Louisville, battling the weather. I don't know. I think we're going to be really surprised. I think we're going to see a team that felt like one of the big dogs from last season, kind of like really treading water down at the bottom.
I see that team that you're mentioning, Dino, to be possibly Gotham. I also see San Diego moving up. I see Bay staying up. Angel City started pretty good too, but I feel they're going to drop a little bit. Utah is a really good surprise as well. I have them do a little better this year. And Houston as well. I feel like Houston has at least tactically they look organized. They don't look all over the place. That's thanks to Morgan Gautrat's husband. But definitely one thing I do see is Taylor Korniak and Racing Louisville. That's probably going to fall a little down.
Yeah, I think so.
I think North Carolina is going to stay up. I think they're going to part without Washington and Kansas. I think they're going to get better. Seattle, Phoebe McClurkin, he had a great game too. So they have. I feel bad for Seattle, man, because Seattle used to be such a good, such a good franchise, man. It's just such a good team.
It feels strange for us Orlando Pride longtime fans sitting here talking about us being at the top of the league and the likes of Portland and Seattle being down the bottom. Like it's a little bit surreal, but you were talking about it a little bit there, Luis. Like what are the changes where we feel like teams at the end of the year are going to be different? Is that top 4 going to be the same? I tend to feel like you do, like Gotham have taken a step back. And that kind of brings us nicely to talking about Gotham and previewing this week's matchup as Orlando Pride head up to Gotham for this game. Dino, sort of your initial thoughts on this matchup and what you'll be looking for.
I think I'm going to be looking for probably what is Orlando's midfield going to be able to do? So obviously the Gautrat, McCutcheon pairing, how effective are they going to be? I think Orlando's defense dominant. I think we watched this team all season last year. To add a player like Rafael in there, and then just be able to slide Emily Sams out, is an unbelievable luxury. Like between those three, Carriabello, Morehouse, I mean, it's going to be really impossible. We talked to Anna Morehouse at Media Day, and she's like, I want to reset the clean sheet record that I set last year. I'm like, okay, that's a goal. Love that.
Yeah.
And obviously, off to a great start. They're going to be really tough to score on. So I think I'm really going to be keyed in on the offense and whether or not Orlando can move the ball up the field versus just kind of kick it over the top and see if Banda can kind of spin off a defender and kind of make something happen. I really want to see them like build up and kind of like what they did. I mean, Chicago was completely overmatched, but can they go to Gotham, play a little bit of a tougher team, and sort of apply the same kind of offensive pressure, moving the ball up the field and really making them defend pretty much every blade of grass.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that the Pride does have the firepower to do that. I know Freeman, Mandy Freeman is not gonna be part of the game against Orlando because she got a red card in the last game. Emily Sonnet, she's been having solid games, but she's gonna do it all on her own. I've seen also Martin kind of dropping into that kind of quasi center back sometimes for Sonnet to kind of move more towards the right sometimes, and that may cause some, miscommunications in the back line and defensive side for Gotham. And again, this is a team that right now their DPs, I'm talking about DPs, but their strikers really not doing much. Esther Gonzalez, right? So she's really not performing. I mean, they have the opposite as what we have, when it comes to the attack.
Yep.
On the Pride, you have Ali Watt, and then you have, Priska on the bench, and then you have Banda and Marta and Carrie, and even Julie Doyle. And on their side, I feel like they're a little bit more depleted on that level. Now, they can hold the ball. They're really good holding the ball and just kind of playing very kind of aggressive and dirty. But I just feel like they're physically, I see them on way below than what I've seen the Pride lately. I think the Pride physically, they can withstand even high press. They can also impose their press. And I feel like Gotham, they've lost that a little bit, that physicality. They're a little bit more passive now, and I feel like that's going to allow for the Pride to take over. I mean, I don't see a blowout game like we did Chicago. It will really surprise me, but I do see that it's going to be at least hopefully a clean sheet. But it's going to be a team that it's gonna this year. I mean, the way I saw him playing against the USL League team, and it was, I'm like,
Luis he's doubting Gotham after he watched
I'm like,
Tampa Bay
yo, how
Sun
can the
take it
Sun
to
beat
them.
you like
Like
that?
for
Like
real.
they got beaten by the Sun. Whether
I think, and Dino might be able to speak to this, but I think there's something rotten in the state of Denmark or in New York, right?
I mean, like I've talked about this a little bit on our show as well. When you lose high-profile players, Lynn Biondolo, Delaney Sheehan, Yasmin Ryan, I'm sure I'm Jenna Neiswanger, I'm probably forgetting another one or two. And those players just decide that they want to leave. That to me says something about the franchise. And I think Lynn Biondolo, went on Sam Mewa's podcast, talked about this a little bit, about being like, hey, I want to go somewhere where it's a little bit more of open thinking and open-mindedness. Or I forgot exactly what she said, but she kind of like alluded to, hey, I'm not really, feeling this. I'm not on the same vibe that they are here. And then Gotham has to go out and sign international players. Jessica Silva, Gabi Pochilio. Shapansky was not an international player, but I thought she had a really great week. I think she's kind of maybe in that rookie of the year conversation. So she's gonna be a player to look out for. But I think it's going to take time for the chemistry in Gotham to sort of like re-gel. And they could definitely be at risk of being like maybe one of those bottom 3 or 4 playoff teams, or maybe even in the bubble. That maybe they're the big dog from last year that maybe could take a step back, because I think they lost some talent, didn't necessarily replace all of it, and I think again the chemistry is going to take a little time.
No, I agree with him, with Dino, 100%. You know,
Yeah.
it's just that Gotham had that edge. Like when you see play Gotham, Gotham had that edge that will win you games. And now I feel like the way they again, you see me, Lewis, you keep talking about the sun, but I'm telling you, like the way this little club, man, like brand new, and not even a year old, came out and just played them. It was just like with former Pride players, man, like with Jordan Listro and Erica Timrak, man, and it was pretty crazy to see them be rattled by really like 10% of the press of the Pride did against Chicago. Literally, I mean, these are players that probably didn't make it to the NWSL that are trying to other options in Division One, and they really like they force them to make fouls and get a little erratic, especially in transition. Something that you would see a Gotham way more poised and way more calm, and the way they would treat the ball and control the ball. I feel like they've lost that edge a little bit now. I think the Pride, on the other hand, they can capitalize in this game to kind of just soar up. They're already 6 points goal differential. If they score two more, I mean, it would be tremendous. On the verge of something really great. Hopefully that's the case, but I feel very positive in this game, even though playing at their field is a little tough sometimes. But I think it's gonna be a good game overall.
Dino, I want to get your thoughts on Juan Carlos Amaros, because obviously he
Doesn't like it.
won, in 2023. But I watched in the NWSL for the win, Amazon, and kind of you see all of these coaches, right? It's great to see inside
Yeah.
the locker room, and we see the likes of Seb, and I'm like, I'll run through a wall for Seb, and when we see Washington Spirit, and they, I think Jonathan Heraldes is the same thing. I'm like, very inspiring, and we saw the one from Juan Carlos Amaros, and I was not inspired at all. I was kind of, and you looked like, no lie, you looked at the faces of the Gotham players, and it was like they went to Lynn Williams. She just looked like, what is happening? Like I'm not motivated, and so I think for me that told me a lot about Juan Carlos Amaros. Is yes, he won NWSL, but I just don't look at him in the same light as some of these other top coaches in the league. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think, I mean, I like to judge it. I didn't see the episode that you're alluding to. But, it's obviously small kids and it's crazy over here. We do our best, and I think I joke with Grant that we watch the games, bro.
Oh, you'll
Yeah,
get
so
there.
I'm like,
You'll get
yeah,
there.
I'm dying to get over that hump where I've got a little bit more free time. But so I focus primarily on the games, and we see what we can. I think when you watch Gotham, that's not surprising to me at all, because you don't see them necessarily bought in. Like, a player like Shapansky, who's 21 years old, playing in her first professional, I think it's her first professional game, if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely her first NWSL game. But for a player like that to sort of like stand out, that kind of also tells me that that's a player that's sort of freestyling out there. And Esther is trying to do her thing. I think she's trying to regain some of her, maybe like 2 years ago form or prior World Cup form. That's not really happening, and you don't really see the connectivity amongst their players. The Portillo goal that they got against Seattle, that one was deflected in a little bit of luck on that one. They didn't look super threatening outside of that. I think the stats, they should be, with that much talent, they should be going to Seattle and handling business. I don't want to say relatively easy, but they should be handling business, maybe, period, right? And I think that's not what we saw. So, I mean, I'm not surprised at all to kind of learn that Amaros in that episode wasn't necessarily the most inspirational. Probably some alignment with why players kind of decided they want to take their talents elsewhere. And I agree with you, Luis, that I think this is definitely an Orlando win, but I think Orlando probably does what Gotham should have done last week. They go on the road, they handle business, they don't mess around at all, and they really just kind of like suffocate the game a little bit. Because again, that defense, I mean, at this point, I'd be surprised if Gotham was able to score even in this one, just kind of like with how they've looked so early.
that good. Luis, you want to read some comments and
Sure.
then let's do a quick prediction on
Shinta
Gotham.
0013. Gotham ain't got shit. 4-0.
Love it.
Love the positivity shit.
Let's effing go. 6-0 Orlando. There you go. Thank you, Shinta. They lost the locker room, says Elizabeth. I agree on that. They had Kennedy playing center mid. No notes of all sad words. Uitema rattled Burger. There you go, Elizabeth. Burger, lots of mistakes. KC should have been 3-2. Never mind, LMAO. I thought I saw it there. No, wait. I found it on Instagram. I think they're talking about the voting. I agree.
Yes, the voting.
I've been taking my girl since the first season. Banner raising top 2 for me. Yeah, I mean, look, as press, as journalist, I could tell you this. I've been with the Pride. It was the first team I covered with Alonso's outlet, Area Sports. I was in charge of the Pride, and then somebody else was in charge of City. Eventually, I moved to the City and Pride, but Pride was my first, team. And man,
Your first beat.
I saw it like literally 500 fans sometimes. Like, you're talking about the atmosphere was a little different. Even the players, like, there was no collective at all. Like, there was no collective play. Teams would come and they were already expected to win by 2 or more goals. No one will stay for the post press conference. It was sometimes I had to ask like 3 or 4 questions. It just seemed like I just had a one-on-one with the players, So it was a rough, and from going from that, the turmoil of what happened to literally the culture completely shifting. It's amazing. It's what makes football or soccer beautiful as a sport, and it shows that it could be done. Like, it could be done. Like, it's kind of like, I know it's gonna sound so controversial what I'm about to say. The Wrexham thing, the show for Wrexham,
Yeah.
but in reality,
I was just thinking it's kind of like we
Yeah.
got promoted, even though we don't have promotion. We were a lower league scrapping club that was getting beat up by the bigger teams, and then we figured it all out, got promoted, and pulled a Leicester and won the
dude,
whole
we
thing,
had
right? Like that's
we
the
had to
vibe.
call the Florida Gators coach that was retiring to coach the team. We had Miguel Gallardo, which is Orlando City legend, to do goalkeeping.
Seb Hines was a volunteer coach.
Seb Hines was a volunteer coach. Miguel Gallardo had to be goalkeeping coach, like, because no, they had no coach. They had no goalkeeping coach. He had to step off the Orlando City, newscaster type of guy that he was doing with a Gabi at the time, and step into boot up again. Giles Barnes. I mean, it's just it could have its own documentary, literally.
Yeah. And Dino, that's why you got to watch the NWSL one, because it kind of turns into an Orlando Pride documentary at the end there, where it's just all about us winning the double last year. Let's move on, Luis. As much as I love to reminisce about bad times and how good they are now, let's talk about the lineup. Dino, this is something we usually go through and put our lineup in. It's hard, I'm sure, as you know, for Orlando Pride to predict what's going to happen. Do you feel like we're going to see a bit of consistency here from Seb having, such a good opening result?
I think so. I mean, I'm kind of going through it in my head. I don't know. I don't know necessarily.
You can read it out as you predict it. That's totally fine.
Oh yeah, I could definitely. Well, I'm just trying to think who.
Yeah.
All right, so definitely back line. I think that stays the same. Sams, Nadanner, Hafa, and Abello, Morehouse in goal. I'm trying to think who might be the new injection. I think maybe right outside the mix, Summer Yates potentially, I think could be a player that could be ramping up a little bit. I think she's got minutes in both matches if I'm remembering correctly. But that's a player that I think they're gonna want to count on a little bit more. So let's see, and then up front. I mean, everything's been working so great. I mean, the injection of Ali Watt. I think we talked about on our show too. Her vertical leap on those set pieces was like, where did this come from? This is awesome.
Actually, Summer didn't come on last game. I thought she did, but she didn't. No, Viv came on for Marte.
Okay.
But Summer didn't get on the field last game, but definitely a bright spark from last year. Like we're always debating, could it be Summer on the wing? Could it be Allie? Could it be Julie? There's so many options there.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Elizabeth. Now I'm learning that Summer was sick. Yeah, so I think the real question. Yeah, I'm very curious. Do you think this is a game? Because you think about Gotham's backline, Jess Carter, a little bit older. Sonnet. Has had little struggles, even though she's still a legend. Maybe this could be a Priska game. And maybe we have Banda on one side, Priska on the other. And we kind of sort of mix it up there.
That's a good point because Allie kind of has that. I know that she likes to wear that bandage on her leg, but I think that I would rather. Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, I would rather. I don't know if Seb feels comfortable in changing her flank of his flanks, but I honestly think that would be a great assessment.
So would that put Prisco or Banda at the 9, and which one at the wing? And
I like Banda at the 9 and Prisco as playing as a right winger because she played as a right winger in Mexico, and she killed it.
I mean, she's got that pace, bro. Like the whole crowd was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, she killed it, man. Like she. Now,
I mean, Allie's been playing really well.
Or we may see also Seb, putting Allie in the first half, and there's, if Orlando is comfortably winning, just put Prisca up there, and just make Allie play one half. It's possible.
I mean, Marta in the 10, Banda's gonna be in there. The wings is the debate. I feel like we're probably gonna see Morgan Gautrat again in the mid.
We're gonna see Morgan
and her and Haley. They look so good. I can't look past Angelina on the left wing at the moment. I think the high press and the way that we're winning the ball back high up I think Angelina playing that left wing role has got a lot to do with that. I think, and also Carrie Abello, the way she's been able to really have that whole left wing to herself because Angelina cuts inside. So I feel like Angelina's going to start. I could see Chilufya. I think Dino is onto something as an option of maybe getting the start at some point. Prisca could get in there.
I mean, look.
Yeah, no shade to Ali Watt. I think she's.
Look how stacked this is, dude. Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like we always say, Dino, it's a great problem to have, right? Picking a lineup of players where I'm like, oh, I want to play you all.
Talking about one of the best players of Liga MX last year.
Yeah, it's kind of like Montessori. Like, there's no wrong answer. It's just whatever you do, it's just gonna look awesome on paper. I think I like the lineup.
Sonnet is a legend. Yeah, she may get a little rattled. I mean, just this front.
Yeah.
This attacking third, no pun intended with a show or anything like that, but this attacking third is the attacking third I'm talking about. Look at this, man. It's like Prisca.
No, we're
Banda.
We're probably looking at a lot of balls going into the channel for sure. Just a little plug there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was joking.
How many more puns?
And then we become a lot of Proud Orlando.
Hell yeah, let's go. I think Prisca could get the start, but imagine being a defender, and this is why there's no wrong answers. Because if Prisca comes off the bench, Ali Watt gets a start. It's okay, Ali's been playing great. Imagine those defenders after chasing around Marta and Banda for 70 minutes, and now it's like, okay, last half an hour, last 25, 30 plus, go chase Ali. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it. Or Seb wants to have Ali take a well-rested first half and just, just Ali just rest Let's see what Priska can do. And then it will be it will give fresher legs to Ali, not so many, not a lot of, because this league, and as you guys know, is physically draining. And we don't want to burn our starting lineup. Definitely Ali is the starting right winger of Orlando Pride for sure. She deserves it. She's earned it 110%. But you also have to think about the long run, right? And you don't want to, I mean, not to say that Priska cannot do it. I just think I want to see Priska to see what she got against a top competitor like Gotham. I mean, Gotham. Moreau's got Coach of the Year in 2023, so you know I mean, you may want to disagree to disagree, but I feel still he could tactically
Oh
do
yeah,
some damage,
this
with that team.
this is still a dangerous Gotham team. I think last year we really considered them a bigger threat than I do this year. I do think they've taken a step back. So this I feel like is a pretty good
I
lineup
like
from
it.
us. The beauty of Orlando Pride is that we will rotate and we have that depth and those options. So I don't think Seb's going to do it just yet. I think we're going to roll with the exact same starting lineup. But those rotations will be coming soon. So if it happens in this game, I won't be shocked at all. And then let's move on quickly and talk about our score predictions. I'm sure Dino, he's been doing predictions. I just watched his prediction pod. So if you haven't watched that, go and check out into the channel. They did the whole season preview and predictions on everything, so you can see across the league where they feel like teams are gonna finish. This one, a prediction for us. Luis, you go first. What do you think?
It's gonna be a 3-0 Orlando win.
I like that 3-0. Another clean sheet. I feel like we're going to see a lot of clean sheets this
3-0
year
Orlando
for Orlando
win.
Pride. So 3-0 is coming. Half of last game, but
You
still
got
a very
Friska on
convincing
the score sheet, hopefully.
score line.
There we
Yeah.
go. Love that.
Priska score. Anyone who else is getting these 2 goals in
Who
yours?
else, man? Barbara Bando.
Banda, probably. She gets 2. Priska gets. It's all Zambia. Copper Queens reign supreme. Copper Queens get crowned in Gotham and own the city. All right. Dino, what do you think, man? What do you think for this one?
I know I said earlier, be surprised if Gotham could score, but I think they do squeak one out. Maybe they get a soft penalty or something late in the match, just to a gentleman's or a gentlewoman's shutout. So I'm going to go 3-1 in this one. I like Chilufya scoring, so I'm gonna piggyback on that. I think Marta gets a goal today.
No, cool.
And then I think it's something. Let's see. Let's go a little bit. I think a sub is going to come on. Let's say I'm going to say Summer Yates. I'm going to say Summer Yates comes on, and lets one rip late. Once everybody's got their guard down a little bit, and then we get a nice Summer Yates celebration. And then shout out to Shinta here, Corey Dyke. Too good not to be starting. Totally agree. ITC Hall of Famer Corey Dyke. We interviewed her last year. If you missed that, definitely go check it out. I think as part of that rotation, that's a player that we could definitely see rotating into one of those. I think right back spots, probably in that back line.
Yeah, Corey Dyke.
Yeah, Shinta nailed it there. It's too good not to be starting, though. I feel like you could say that about half our squad. Yeah, I feel like it's probably gonna be a high score line. Like, it's difficult for me to predict a lot of goals in Gotham. Like, it's for us, perhaps a place that you would think last year, oh, this is gonna be difficult to go there and get a result. But this year, it's more like, how many are we gonna score in Gotham? I think 3-0 is a good shout, Luis. I'm thinking maybe we concede one. I'm going to go 3-1 for this. So I don't know how. I'm with Dino. It falls in somehow. They get lucky on one, but a convincing Orlando Pride win nonetheless. Goals from Barbara. I think Angelina's due. I think she's going to get one this game. And then I'm gonna go with Ali Watt again because I think she's on a heater.
Nice.
So
Ali
that's my
Watt
3.
scoring back-to-back games.
Yeah,
Wow.
once again, another header for
Another
Ali Watt.
header.
She's now a set piece specialist. That's my
All
opinion. She's
right.
just gonna this near post header thing. She's just gonna keep doing that. That's what I
I
think.
want to see a Batman
I mean,
celebration. If anybody's watching from the Pride, we gotta
Luis wants to see the bat signal above the stadium. If somebody can make
correct,
that happen,
or
that would be
the
great.
Bane, like somebody give a Bane mask
Oh
to
my
someone.
gosh.
That'd be so
We're
cool.
always doing Gotham
There
jokes
we go.
here.
Barbara
We can't
Bane
help
does.
ourselves.
There you go, Barbara Bane.
Barbara Bane. There you go. We'll put Barbara in a bat mask and or Bane mask. Make fun. Anyway, I want to thank everybody that was here today. If you're live with us and dropping in comments on YouTube or X, we appreciate you always. Please go ahead and drop a like on the video, share the video, let your friends know about Loud and Proud Orlando. The fact that we have a Pride Pod every Monday at 8 p.m. Of course, you can follow us on all the social media, wherever you like to enjoy, X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can listen there as well. I want to thank Dino from Into the Channel for joining us on the pod. I feel like it's been ages since we've had you on, so I'm glad you could have some time to join us and preview Gotham. Please, Dino, tell everybody all about Into the Channel and when they can find you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're Into the Channel podcast. I'm one half of the podcast, co-host with my buddy Grant Engel. And yeah, we're 100% women's football focused. So we cover NWSL. We've got Champions League coming up this week. Just a ton of football. U.S. Women's National Team, definitely part of our beat as well. So if you're a fan of the women's game, this is pretty much all we do at the ITC. So definitely come check us out. We just released our match week 1 recap just a couple hours ago. So that's hot off the presses. And then tonight I'll be going live with my buddy Grant, previewing tomorrow's and Wednesday's Champions League action. So if you're a fan of the Champions League, we're down to the quarterfinals. It's almost go time. Come rock with us right around 11:30 Eastern. We'll be talking Champions League.
Make sure you click on all notifications so you get into the channel notifications that they're live as well. I just subscribe right here. So make sure you do the same. Thank you, Dino. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Luis. Thanks for that. Thanks, John, for having me as well.
Yes, indeed. Go check out their preview. Go check out all of their content they make about women's soccer across the globe. You guys do some great stuff, and we're very grateful for you to spend some time with us here today. All of you that have been watching, thank you so much. Watch this weekend as we take on the Bats of Gotham and hopefully get another 3 points and stay at the top of the table. This Orlando Pride is not going anywhere. Make sure you see us now. Vamos Pride, and we'll see you all next week.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Vamos Pride.
Vamos Pride.